To the airwaves. It's time for the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. Martin is a national championship fullback from the 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide, known for his bruising runs and devastating blocks. Now he's bulldozing through sports talk with that same championship intensity. Joining him is his son, Xavier, a savant of football knowledge and statistical insight. He's your go-to source for the latest recruiting news and insider updates from across the Bama Nation. And Simeon, the thinker and contemplator, bringing you insight and knowledge that is logical, thoughtful, and on point. Together, they deliver fair and balanced analysis from an insider's perspective with real conversations where the callers, the listeners, and the online maniacs get in on the action by sharing their thoughts, their comment, and their reaction. Join our online maniacs at facebook.com/The Martin Houston Show. You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 WTBC. It's time for kickoff. So buckle up and get ready, because this is the sound of Bama sports. The Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon is live. Roll Tide, roll!
Roll Tide, roll. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Simeon Houston. This is the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. I'm glad to be back with you. You guys did a great job yesterday running the show. Maniacs, I want to invite you in on the conversation this morning, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. And, of course, Maniacs, add your thoughts, your comments, your reactions to the live stream chat. We'd love to have you be part of the program. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. I mean, you guys drove it yesterday, so I tossed it to you guys. What's hot and heavy? Anything going on today that we need to talk about?
Oh, I mean, nothing really. It's just decision day, scrimmage day, the last scrimmage of fall camp. I mean, a lot of decisions are going to be made today, not just the quarterback spot either.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how today plays out. Got a lot of big decisions that could shape really how this season turns out based off of today. You know, offensive line positions, we beat that quarterback horse to death, but QB, inside linebacker, you know, the middle of the defense is extremely important in Kane Womack's system. So it's going to be interesting to see how these position battles turn out and who gets first nod moving forward. And there still could be changes even after battles are won today.
Yeah, so it's definitely D-Day for a lot of big reasons, and I'm sure this coaching staff is both excited and maybe a little apprehensive about making those decisions. It's everything seems to be pointing that the desire for the coaching staff is to kind of figure out who's who and what's what in terms of starters and things like that. Because even when you hear, Sab talk about it, you hear him talking about that line. I think Coach Womack used the term above the line, below the line. So here's what Sab had to say about that line, and then we'll talk about who do we think's above the line, who we think's below the line.
the defense guys kind of in the scrimmage will kind of know, okay, who can I trust week one? Just kind of, how does that, as you kind of permeate through the defense, what do you see in practice and in the scrimmage, kind of dealing with that?
I think it just allowed us to have an opportunity to be a lot more focused. With coach telling us like there's a line of with guys and you're either above the line or below. So you want to be above that line and continue to attack your process throughout the week, especially with a scrimmage coming up, just trying to be prepared for it. So I feel like coach kind of emphasizing like being above that line. I think that gave us an opportunity to prepare really well.
All right, guys.
Above the line. I mean, and for the interpretation that I have of that is we're talking about the guys that are going to contribute to this team, guys that are going to be in the rotation, the guys that you feel like you can count on in in moments where the pressure is high, it's intense. You want to be above that line to be a key contributor to the 2026 Alabama team.
Yes, I mean, I guess the question becomes for me is I love it. He threw it out there. That was one of those Nick Saban moves. Uh, he didn't call anybody's name, and he didn't say where the line was. He just said, "In my mind, I got a line, and I and after scrimmage, I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of I want to kind of know who's above the line and below the line." Um, and so to me, it's a brilliant move because, like Kim Saab said, it makes him focus. But what's that line, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's several different criterias that go into the line, but most likely it's just, are you consistent? Are you coachable? Are you, not trying to be funny, are you good enough to be out there playing in the SEC in, week out? And I mean, that, in my opinion, that's just one of those things that the coach has it in his mind and you don't necessarily know what it is. So guess what? You can never be satisfied. You always have to continue to keep working.
That's
And
right.
that's something that, that'll keep a player that is maybe at that line or slightly below the line. If they don't know they're on or above or below the line, they'll continue to keep working hard, and just because of their hard work, they'll get to be above the line. Or if they think they are they have earned the spot and they slack off, then a couple guys will lose and go below the line.
Yeah, that's what I love. And when it comes to the DBs, Q Dixon asked, speaking of Sab, has there been any buzz around him in camp? Haven't been anything like just jumping off the page, except for the dude is just good. I mean, uh, he's just one of those
Consistent.
guys. Go ahead, Xavier.
No, he's just consistent. I mean, some understand some of these guys that you haven't heard a lot of buzz about isn't a negative thing. It's just that they're showing up each and every day doing what they're supposed to do. Keon Sabb is a guy that if he goes out and has a solid year, one, it helps Alabama, but this guy's going to be a second round pick most likely. So
Without a doubt. And you know, that's the way I look at it too. And so I'm excited about it from a above the line, below the line guy. You have your Dejon Lee and Xavier Brown, and you have the Sab and Bray, clearly, easily above the line, right? Uh, Maybe Red Morgan,
yeah,
kind of above the line guy there. But when you start talking about those other DBs, he mentioned a guy the other day that that I think they are working diligently to try to have another one of those freshman breakthrough guys, and that's the guy named Jair Edwards. So, what type of day does he have to get above that line, or do you think he's above the line based on what was said?
I mean, based off of what I've heard, in my opinion, he's above it. But there's also a couple other safeties. You've heard a lot about Ivan Taylor, Dre Kirkpatrick, um, Xavier Mincy. So these are guys that, in Kirkpatrick and Mincy, we've seen play a lot of football at Alabama. But Taylor's had a great spring, summer, fall camp. Where's that line for that second rotation of guys? Does Edwards and Taylor, being the younger guys, do they surpass Mincy and Kirkpatrick? Do those guys hold on to their spots in the rotation? And that's the interesting part. We continue with the DBs. You talk about Red Morgan. There's Carmelo O'Neal, the big 6'4" transfer from Mercer. Jordan Edmonds was having a great spring before injury. I mean, fall camp before injury. So there's a lot of guys in that DB room that are going to be fighting to be above that line.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, it's just the 5 for 5 has probably made the line go down a little bit, which allows more guys to play because you're getting 5 years. You don't have to worry about burning a red shirt or whatever. Um, and so I think guys like that are going to play. Jared Edwards are going to play just because. I mean, those guys are super super talented, but the line probably in that DB room is pretty low. Pretty low, not because you have to play, but all those guys in the DB room are game changers.
Yeah, and I think when you're saying low is not that you lowered the standard, meaning there's a lot of guys in that secondary that's
That
above
can
the
play.
line
Yeah.
that can play. But I love, he pointed out Jared Edwards, and like he said, it's in Jared's hands how much he plays. Like, in other words, I felt like he was saying, we got some special situations, we're going to put him on the field. Whether we can put him on the field at any point, any time in the season, I mean, in a game, no matter the circumstance, is up to him and how much he grows over the next few days and weeks. And like I said, so I think he's going to be another one of those. And I think Edmonds was on his way to doing that same thing before he got hurt. I don't think this is in any way going to impact Kirkpatrick and Mincy. I think those guys are going to play. They've proven they can play SEC football. In the words of Q Dixon, secondary is just deep. The best in the country, ones and twos combined. Coming back on the other side, we'll move down one layer to the linebacker position. D-Day, who you got, who's going to be the starter, who's going to come out. Is it going to be the two that's been leading the pack, or will one of the other guys break into that, talking about QB Reese and Abdul Sanders or Xavier Griffin? All of that and more right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you on your thankful Thursday. We're moving right along, getting off to a nice and quiet start as we typically do. 2059, gorgeous between University and Joe Malisham. We're moving smooth on Lurleen Wallace as well. Lurleen Wallace 359, that is between 2059 and McFarland. Green for go, and 15th Street also moving smooth between McFarland and Lurleen Wallace. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Save thousands on a new Nissan, and every Women's Wednesday, get a $49.99 oil change with a complimentary multi-point inspection at Townsend Nissan, your family in the car business.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
If you find yourself in a wreck, keep 3 things in mind. First, call the police. Second, take pictures of the scene. Third, call me. I'm attorney Stephen Mizrano, and I win. My firm is committed to fighting the big insurance companies and making sure you get the money you deserve. Call today for a free consultation. I don't get paid unless I win for you. Call 800-8000 or visit mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The best time to recommit to your gut health goals? Right now. Take charge of your gut with Nature Made. Our clinically studied ingredients support digestive health. Digestive enzymes break down nutrients. Probiotic and prebiotic fiber nourish good gut bacteria. And super greens with probiotics empower daily digestive health. Try the full lineup of gut health support from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Covia Sand Mine in Tuscaloosa is hiring a full-time maintenance mechanic starting at $30 per hour based on experience. Join a stable, safety-focused company and enjoy excellent benefits including medical, dental, and vision insurance, paid holidays, paid vacation, disability coverage, life insurance, and a 401k with company matching up to 6%. If you have experience in maintenance, welding, equipment repair, or mechanical troubleshooting, we want to hear from you. Apply online at coviacorp.com or call us today at 205-758-8353. That's 205-758-8353.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They've moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. We'll see sunshine here today, on the watch for afternoon thunderstorms. Blistering hot near 100 degrees and a heat advisory up today. Feeling like 110 with a heat index, a westerly breeze. Cloudy, sticky early storm chances tonight down to 75. Sunny, another round of afternoon storms tomorrow. High tomorrow 96. Bright sunshine Saturday, high 97. Richard DeWetting of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 73 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
He plays with a different type of passion. Guys last year were the same way, really passionate, but this guy's a really hard-nosed, really good athlete that can play really good ball.
That's Keon Sabb talking about Caleb Woodson, guys. I thought that was a nice comment from him about Caleb, because we haven't heard a lot about Caleb because Luke Metz is kind of stolen the show, but he's kind of in that same category as Sabb. He's just been so consistent and so good, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's an absolute unit. I've seen some pictures that come out like, I didn't realize he was as big as he was. That dude is a grown man, 6'3", 240, but runs well, moves well. He's a former safety. This is just this is Bray Hubbard if you put on another 15 pounds. This is Jair Edwards if you put on another 15 pounds, playing middle linebacker for us. And he hasn't lost his athleticism or speed. And he's just been a consistent force since he arrived on campus. So can't complain. They actually asked him the other day, why'd you come to Alabama? He said, it's the top of the top. Where else would I go? So
yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that from Sabb. I mean, because Sabb's one of the leaders on team and leaders on the defense. And so when you're getting a compliment from him, that's good to see. I mean, like Xavier said, Caleb Woodson. I mean, he looks the part, and he's not one of those cases where you look like Tarzan but you play like Jane. Um, he he has brought it, and it's been good to see that because the less you're getting talked about, that doesn't mean anything's bad's going on. That just means that you're being consistent. Sometimes you don't want to be spoken about in the media a bunch, so it's good to see that he's keeping his head down and put in the work.
Yeah, one of my goals when when I played was I didn't want them talking about me at fullback a whole lot unless it was like third one or fourth one. The rest of the time, I really did not want my name called because they tended to call my name when I didn't do my job. And so if I was doing my job, they were talking about somebody else. But in that linebacker room, guys, that was one of the big question marks coming into camp. How are you feeling on D-Day with Alabama's big scrimmage looming today?
See?
I feel good about it with the addition of Luke Metz stepping up and Caleb Woodson and QB Reese and Duke Johnson as well. Like we talked about it yesterday. I mean, this linebacker room is deep, and they have a bunch of ball players on there. I mean, on the defensive side of the ball. So I mean, I'm just excited. I don't think it's as much of a weakness as we thought it was going into the season. Hearing Coach Womack talk about them, but I am intrigued to see how Luke Metz and because I'm assuming. I mean, it has appeared that Luke Metz has taken control of that second spot, maybe from QB Reese. But there's still another scrimmage to go today, so things could change in that. But I am excited to see how they perform.
Yeah, and officially that position is called the Sting. So it's the Mike linebacker and the Sting linebacker. And as Simeon said, we talked about yesterday. This group was, oh my goodness, it's going to be such a big weakness in this defense. This amazing secondary, all these guys that we got bringing in on the defensive line with the length and the size is going to make them better. Even if linebacker is the weakest group on this defense, it's just because of how dominant the other groups are going to be. It's not because they're actually a net negative to this defense. I mean, Coach Womack talked about it. He said I've got guys after. He says after today, after the scrimmage, he said I'm gonna have my two guys start, and then I'm gonna have a couple of guys. And he mentioned Duke Johnson. He mentioned Abdul Sanders and what they've done to step up. So yeah, it's going to be Caleb and either Metz or QB Reese. But I feel good about the depth when you're talking about Duke Johnson, Sanders, Xavier Griffin, other names in that room that, hey, he feels I'm going to have my two guys, and he said he's going to have a couple other guys that he's going to have ready to come in and be in that rotation.
Yeah, with this group, I think what we're dealing with regarding this group is that in the past, this is not different except for the fact that Woodson was a starter, at VT last year. But if you take away the fact that he had a Virginia Tech jersey on last year, this would be what Alabama was used to, meaning we'd have one solid starter with a lot of reps, and then you would have the next man up. But we used to see that next man up because of the special teams, and we couldn't wait to see them. And a lot of when I say special team, it was mostly kickoff. Like
Yeah.
you could read, we got another headhunter coming, and you
Oh,
can
there's Reuben Foster. There's Mac Wilson. Oh, there's Rashawn Evans. Those guys. But to be fair, guess which guy was on kickoff last year?
yeah.
No, I'm just saying Luke Metz was the guy that was on kickoff last year.
Yeah, but kickoff is a joke for college football now. It's a joke. I mean, 9 times out of
Not a
10,
lot of returns.
the guy stands down there and does this, and the ball just goes over his head and into the end zone, or he fair catches and gets it 25. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying you don't have the same feeling. Like, yeah, Luke Metz was on it, but did you see Luke Metz nailing people consistently? No, because nobody returned. Our kicker kicks it in the end zone or kicks it high, and they fair catch, 9 out of 10 times. But my point was, this is no different than what Alabama has experienced before, except for Woodson that doesn't have that Crimson background. He has a Virginia Tech background. With that said, I think that we have a lot of inexperience, but a lot of talent in that position.
Yeah.
And Womack also said about Griffin the same thing he said about Jair Edwards. He said he got some things that he can do. Even seemed to indicate that the guy might be in some pass rush packages. He talked about him having that experience, and then he talked about how coach has been working with them to get him ready at inside linebacker, and talked about showing up at 6:00 to watch film, and coach and Xavier Griffin are sitting in there watching film, getting better. So don't count him out just yet. He's one of those guys that coach was talking about, I think, that's going to get above the line with packages. And then as the season go along, he might make it, instead of 3 guys, he may be that 4th guy. So good to hear that. I think that linebacker position is going to be a stout. He has, from the defensive line standpoint, guys, and we can carry this conversation over if we need to. When it comes to the D line, it isn't whether or not you have enough guys, but you can only send out,
so many.
So who you got? Well, first of all, who are we all saying it's going to be? Woodson, Metz, Reese, kind of the first 3, and then the rest of the guys are fighting to be that next combo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's instead of starting that conversation and having to go to break, let's go to break a little bit early, come back on the other side and talk about that D line, because you can make the assumption that Alabama's deep at D line, but you still have to start somebody who's going to be the first few guys out there from a D line standpoint. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. A very good morning to you on your thankful Thursday. We're moving right along, getting off to a nice and quiet start as we typically do. 2059, gorgeous between University and Joe Malisham. We're moving smooth on Lurleen Wallace as well. Lurleen Wallace 359, that is between 2059 and McFarland. Green for go, and 15th Street also moving smooth between McFarland and Lurleen Wallace. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, Tammy Thomas.
Ready, set, summer. The summer event is on at Townsend Honda. Right now, get financing as low as 1.99% APR on select new Hondas, plus 3 years of complimentary scheduled maintenance. Shop Townsend Honda's huge selection of certified pre-owned vehicles and get light new protection, low financing rates, and make no payments for 90 days. The summer event is happening now at Townsend Honda, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa.
For well-qualified buyers with approval from Honda Financial Services. Offer ends September 8, 2026.
When it comes to custom apparel, trust your local experts at B&B Sports and Silkscreen in Northport. We specialize in team uniforms, event apparel, company branding, and custom hat patches. We offer professional screen printing, DTF prints, and embroidery with fast turnaround times and quality you can count on. Give us a call today for a free quote at 205-339-7361. That's 205-339-7361. Locally owned, locally trusted, and ready to bring your ideas to life.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa. And while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
Alabama football is back, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Crimson Tide. Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Sold in stadium and at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of The Game, we're going to have a chance to feature Hugh Millen, former NFL quarterback. He's going to help us understand why this Kalen DeBoer offense is so quarterback-friendly. We're going to recap the second scrimmage of fall camp. We'll do that. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, Kalen DeBoer audio that you need to hear. And we'll also talk with another SEC quarterback. So 2 quarterbacks on The Game starting at 2 p.m. on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app. It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Yeah, I think, Steve has a pretty unique skill set. His strength, athleticism, the physicality that he can play the game with, he brings a lot to the table, especially when you think about big personnel packages. Asking an offensive lineman to go one-on-one with him that's a hard ask, and so I think he's doing a nice job of being able to play the fundamentals of the position. I think he's got to continue to take steps in the right direction of just knowing what to do consistently, and that ultimately will define how many snaps he takes and in what situations.
Big Steve, that as a grown man, that's the Hulk on this defensive line if I've ever seen one. Steve Mumba, man, I'm excited. I was excited about him coming out of high school. Then he had to go to JUCO for years. Excited about him last year. This is year 3 for me being excited for him. Hopefully it's coming all together so we see him on the field. But we got to talk about who's going to be those first 3 guys out. And who wants to jump off with that? Who's going to take a stab?
Go ahead, Simeon.
No, you go.
What I was going to say, the thing about Steve, what you just heard there was Steve is above the line, and there are packages, and there's packages that he's going to be in. I look for it, short yardage, goal line, based on what he just said, and I love the fact that he just said that's going to be a hard ask if you asking someone to block him one-on-one. question is, can we put him out there in any circumstance, in any situation? That seems to kind of be the thoughts there, Simeon, in regards to just how good Alabama can be. We have our first guys, but we have a whole bunch of guys who have the potential physically, athletically, all of that, but they haven't caught up with the game mentally yet to be out there in any situation. And I think that's what Steve is another one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you go and see all the guys on this defense that can contribute, I mean, Alabama is super deep at every position. But if you're looking at just like guys like Steve, like you said, are situational guys. But if that's your situational guy, imagine how dominant your every down guys are. And I think that just shows like this defensive line this year has taken just a huge step in the right direction, literally and physically.
All right, I'll start it off. I think I mean, when you start looking at some of the names that we don't even talk a lot about, Beeman and Bolo, who Steve we were just talking about, Bensley Jones. We hadn't talked a lot about him. A guy that had a big spring, hadn't heard a lot this fall, was a Corey Howard Jr. I mean, he was making plays. He's gonna be maybe the second coming of Devin Tompkins if Devin Tompkins becomes everything we think. But I'm starting off. You got Devin Tompkins, D line one. I have Terrence Green, D line one. And if they run three of those body types out, my third guy is Simmons, jumping up there. And the name that he mentioned that flashed was Edric Hill. So don't undersell him either. And then you have the likes of Beeman. If he just continues to progress from his injury, he's going to be definitely in that rotation as well.
Yeah,
those are my three as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty consensus the thoughts on the three. I'm kind of with QD. It could be Simmons. It could be Bingley Jones. I think it's some combination of those four guys that you see run out first. And then I think that man, the rotation, the packages, that's where it can get funky and get crazy and just be whatever they want it to be. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have situations where you put Tompkins on the inside and put Desi Mazzulu outside. It's gonna get fun to watch. You're gonna have some big groups, some smaller athletic groups out there that is gonna be nightmares for defenses.
Yeah, I can tell you a pass rush is going to first passing situation is you're going to have Yonze Pierre on one side, Desmond on the other, and Tompkins and Green in the middle. You have some length. I mean, the poor quarterback throwing it up the middle. I think one of the stats we hadn't talked about that this defense was. Think about how many times this defense knocked balls down last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of
TK was amazing at it, being barely 6 foot tall.
That's what I'm saying. Is so you put the height on these guys, all of a sudden, I think that becomes a game changer. I think we're pretty locked in that Yunze is going to be, Yunze. But dang, you watch Heel. He's going to be in the game. He's going to play Desmond.
That's going to be a package where you have Hill, Pierre, and Dez out there all at once.
I think you'll even see packages where Hill is the linebacker.
Yeah.
The inside linebacker. Where he brings a little different things to it. So it's good, man. I mean, you get more and more excited. I hope it all comes together in terms of the scrimmage. But guys, let's go ahead. If y'all have any thoughts, other comments in terms of the D line positions there. All right, big D Day question, of course, is we'll start off on the offensive side of the ball. O line. Has it been decided? Do you already know the five, or is there a battle today? Um, is Sanders still battling? Is Nick still, um, you know, battling for a position, or are those locked up?
I think there's still a battle. I think there is, simply for the fact we have to be careful as fans, as media, when we only ask about one player or certain players, and so that's who the coaches respond about. But you never ask about the other guy in the competition. Now, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. So I think there is still competition because here's the thing: everybody was going Javen James, Javen James, Javen James, and then all of a sudden somebody saw something with Nick Brooks, and it was like, oh, is that a competition? Mal Waldrop practiced in the spring and looked amazing. So nobody talked about Will Sanders, but coaches keep bringing Will Sanders up.
Yeah. Here's what Coach Grubb said. So
It depends on the spot, but Mal's strengths are Mal's strengths. So I think one of the things that you feel good about him at left guard is communication and physicality in the run game, and so just making sure they can do those things. Number one, because I think they're, all things are pretty equal in pass protection. And then same thing with Nick. Javen is an intelligent player. Nick's just got to execute at a little higher level.
Just two more questions.
Yep.
Now, if you didn't understand the way the question was worded, it sounds like he's talking about Mal. But the question was worded in such a way, and I'll play it back now that you've heard it. The question, guys, was worded in such a way was, what does Will and Nick need to do to win the job? And this is what he said.
I think it depends on the spot, but Mal's strengths are Mal's strengths. So I think one of the things that you feel good about him at left guard is communication and physicality in the run game, and so just making sure they can do those things. Number one, because I think they're, all things are pretty equal in pass protection. And then same thing with Nick. Javen is an intelligent player. Nick's just got to execute at a little higher level.
Now, talk about whether there's a potential competition there, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, now he's saying, "Hey, Mal's strength is that he's a communicator and physical in the run game. If Will's going to take that spot or be the number one guy, he needs to make sure he's a good communicator and be physical in the run game." Can Will do that?
I think he can. I mean, today's the deciding factor of it, or we say today's the deciding factor. I think for a couple positions, it 100% is. Some positions might go a little bit longer than just today, but I mean, may the best man win. I want the best five out there because that's been such a big concern. If it's Will and Nick, if it's Mal and Javen, if it's Nick and Javen, whatever the combination is, please put the best five out there to protect our quarterback and get our run game going.
Yeah, I mean, you just want the best five out there, and it's Mal Waldrop has taken a hold of this job, and Will's having to battle to potentially get it back, and I think that's a good thing. Good for the offensive line room as a whole. It sounds like the left guard is still more of a position battle than right tackle is. Right now, that's what I took it from, but we can listen to the same things and say things differently because what I heard is Nick is he said he has to perform and be you don't in my opinion, you don't want your right tackle still having to you want probably more of a consistent anchor at your right tackle. And so that's what I took from it, but I mean
Yeah.
People hear different things in the same words get spoken.
Yeah, when I look at it, I hear Mal Waldrop is is playing winning SEC football at left guard, which was potentially our weakest position last year, right? And so I look at it from that standpoint of Will. I think this is the question: can Will get back to Will's before the season starts? And I don't know that he can. I think because you've heard him say that there's been times, guys, that Will's had to be out and get some rehab and stuff. Just them watching him, Will hasn't been fully engaged in the competition. I think that's why you hear Coach saying, "Can he get back there?" And Will's injury is going to be slower coming back in the run game, I think.
Yeah.
Versus pass pro. And I was excited to hear because I would have said, oh, Will has advantage clearly in the pass pro. Not according to what he just said. He says they're even. And so now the question is, can Will physically get back to be, dominant in the run game, physicality? And he's talked about Mal Waldrop. He said he's a communicator, he's intelligent, he's physical. I mean, he gave him some major props. And so I think Mal's going to be the starter. But I think that one or two things, Will's going to become kind of the swing guy in that middle, because you're going to need maybe to rest these guys every once in a while. Okay.
You know what I would do? And this is just me. This is just me. Because it seemed the feeling is right tackle is the weak spot. I'm sorry. If I have faith in Will and Mal, they're my two guards, and I'm moving Carroll back out to right tackle. Sorry. I feel like they have more faith in Will and Mal than they do either one of the right tackles right now.
I didn't read it that way. That's interesting, like you said. I think the Javen has been consistent. I think this conversation is take quarterback conversation, Simeon. One guy has a higher upside, and that's Nick Brooks. But he also has a lower floor right now. That's what Simeon was saying, and I think that's what's happening with that position. I think when Brooks is on, you take Brooks's best. What did Coach DeBoer say, Simeon? What's name doesn't have any glaring strengths or any glaring weaknesses. Yeah. I think Nick Brooks has some glaring strengths, and unfortunately, he has some potential glaring weaknesses, right? If he fixes that, Nick Brooks is your right tackle. That doesn't mean that what's his name is not good enough to play SEC football. He's played SEC football and started. So the fact that what's his name is battling with a former SEC starter, I think you still look at left guard as your potential. Not that they don't have confidence in those guys, but that's the biggest worry potentially. I don't know that for sure, but Tim Coggins asked Ty Hayward. I think Ty's just slow progressing. I think this shows you how the hype of high school recruiting can be out of whack. Ty Hayward, he hasn't. I haven't heard one thing about him. Not at all. Right. Didn't hear anything about him at Michigan as a freshman. Hadn't heard anything in spring or summer. Doesn't mean he's not. He just may be slower coming along. His system in high school, he could have to be overcoming that. So, but now let's get down to some good stuff in terms of the running back room. What's going to happen there? And have y'all heard? Have y'all heard from our guy? I mean, he's all in on Alabama, and so let's hear what Coach, not Coach, but what Aaron had to say. Aaron Taylor, once again, guys, speaking on Alabama football, and then we'll comment on the last three positions.
There's no question, but I think this is the year Alabama turns the corner. Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. He has lost 4 games in each of his first 2 years. That changes and improves this year. The offensive line that couldn't run the football last year, only 138 yards rushing, that's going to change. The Crimson Tide are going to be able to run the ball. The defense will be as good as it's been. And once they get the quarterback situation figured out, and I think it's going to be Keelan Russell that ends up getting it, they're going to be fine. Keelan Russell's a kid that you can win with, not because of, but can win with. And I think Alabama is strong enough as a team. And candidly, I think Kalen DeBoer is comfortable enough now and caught his breath enough where I think we're going to see a different Crimson Tide team come out. And we talked about a new sheriff in town. I believe Alabama will be in the title game and could give Georgia all they want. There's no...
Whatever he saw at scrimmage,
it sold him.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, you don't usually see that from outside sources. So I mean, that's really, really good to hear that from the outside sources of saying, like, this team is legit. This team is for real. And especially going off these last 2 years, I feel like last 2 years the hype was there. There was so much hype, and then like it was a disappointing year, or whatever you mean by that. But I think this year, with somebody outside saying this team is going to be really good, it's boding well for Alabama.
Yeah, I'm loving hearing it from the outside, but it might be what Coach Saban used to call a little rat poison.
I don't think he was rat poison because of the way he answered that. He said they're going to be able to run the ball, and he was the first one who said he thinks that what's his name is going to be the quarterback. But he also said they're going to win with, not because of. Everyone else has made this determined. Alabama's going to be 8-4 unless Keelan's the quarterback. He said this team can win if Keelan's the quarterback, not because he's the quarterback. And I thought that was important. So, quarterback room, who you got, guys?
Who? Where? Quarterback?
Quarterback room.
Y'all already know I'm going Austin Mack. I'm going Austin Mack without a doubt. No doubt in my mind. I think you give the guy that's been there the most loyal. He's more consistent. We care about consistency everywhere else, but not the quarterback room, apparently. But I'm going Austin Mack.
The best option. I don't know. Mac. I'm going to go Mac, too.
Yeah, I mean, Mac's been my guy until he's not. And that's what I'm going to say. Could Keelan win the job? Absolutely. But if Keelan's the quarterback, he won it today. Okay? That's my point. Is if Keelan Russell is the quarterback, he won it today. Because he's not won the job yet. And, loyalty doesn't win your football game, Simeon, what Q Dixon said. And I agree with that. I think it may have got Saban in trouble at times. Go ahead quickly, Simeon.
No, I'm just saying 100% loyalty doesn't win you football games. But you know what can lose you football games? The up and down of the immaturity of an inexperienced quarterback.
Yes, both.
That can lose you games.
Yeah.
Consistency usually doesn't lose you games.
Yeah, and I love loyalty. Loyalty it matters if that loyalty translates to the fact that I have been dedicated to your playbook and growing your system and running your system. I encourage you to listen to Ryan Fowler's show today. When I think it's Hugh Millen, I think that's his former quarterback analyst he's going to have on. He's going to talk about this system being quarterback friendly. And because it's quarterback friendly, I got Austin Mack. Of course, hey, who's RB 2 and 3 for you guys after today?
Kevin Riley, Trayshawn Brown, because EJ just until I know he can stay healthy.
I'm going EJ and Trayshawn Brown.
Yeah, and Riley isn't losing his number 2 spot, but I think that's for special packages. But I think you're going to see when it comes to the workload in the running, EJ and Trayshawn are the guys. So it's really based on what the need is there. I think all 4 of those guys have a good scrimmage if EJ is healthy. Man, thanks for being a part of the program. I think our wide receivers kind of locked up.
Derek Meadows is starting next.
Yeah, I think Derek Meadows is the guy. Morgan's going to play, though. We'll break down the scrimmage on tomorrow, whatever we can get from it. We're listening to Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. Thanks for being part of the program, Maniac. You appreciate the talk for coming to reactions. Roll Tide, everybody. But always, and not you don't understand, and always acknowledge him, and he will direct your pass.
It's a celebration.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.